lovelies, good morning. So today I'm going to talk about a certain steps that I did for me to be able to get eligible here in the state of Missouri to take the NCLEX exam. So I think a lot of you guys were asking regarding the steps. So for you to be able to get eligible, there are a lot of steps to do in a board of nursing so that you'll be able to take the NCLEX. But specifically, you guys were asking with this steps that we call TrueProfile IO. So for me, that time while I was processing the NCLEX and on this regarding the TrueProfile, it was definitely so hard for me to do it because I don't have anybody to ask to. But I'm gonna try my best to share my experience with TrueProfile and tell you guys, and hopefully it would help you to ease your processing so that you'll be able to get eligible and hopefully you can take the NCLEX in the future. So I'm gonna try my best, okay? So without further ado, let's start. I'm kind of a little bit confused on how am I going to explain it to you because it was a while back and it's kind of there's a little bit of changes. I think it used to be when you try to log in with not log in, but when you try to go to the website of Missouri State Board of Nursing, you could specifically click on the licensing part, and when you click the RN choice, it would pop up that there is like basically like an instructions, like a step-by-step instructions on what to do. And when I tried to checked on that last night because I kind of wanted to remember on how I did it for the processing, and when I tried to go on their website, they have a big change. Like I couldn't find that list anymore. Like I don't know why. Like I keep on logging in. It used to be, I'll show it to you on the screen in here, but I'm gonna use my tablet. Now we are on the screen in Google. So all you gotta do is search the Missouri Board of Nursing, and once you click on their website, you can click their licensure and then RN. Used to be, it would pop up here that RN, foreign educated nurses, and then once you click that one, it would pop up that there are the list of instructions that you are going to do step by steps so that you will be able to start your registration or application so that you'll be able to get eligible to take the NCLEX. But now this is how it looks like. I keep on trying to look for the list or the instructions on what to do, but I couldn't find it. So when I try to click here, because it's an initial license, these are only the thing that would come up, and I couldn't find that step by step. And when you click all this link, it doesn't really get you to, it won't let you go to that certain website. But anyway, so there's an instructions here that if you really want to see your basically instructions on how to do the process, you could click that MoPro. And if you don't have this yet, you need to register. I tried to log in on mine. However, what it shows is just, my license before. Let me show you how it looks like. I think if you are a new applicant and you wanted to take the NCLEX, I believe you have to click this. It will just show my license, but I think you have to, I don't know how I could show you guys on how to do this. So maybe once you apply or you apply for your license, I believe that you'll be able to see the list or the requirements that you need to do or the instructions so that you'll be able to do to start your processing. But anyways, let's get out from this. All right, guys, so this is the instructions that I took a screenshot, luckily, previously, probably 2-3 years ago when I start my processing. The one that I mentioned to you that basically you're an RN, examination application instructions for students or foreign educated nurses that are basically acquired their degree. Anyways, there is a certain steps in here regarding your application requirements. So first is, so for you to be able to start your processing, The first step that I did before was to apply for CGFNS. So basically, CGFNS stands for Commissions on Graduates of Foreign Nursing School. So they are going to evaluate your credentials, especially if you are seeking licensure here, you know, abroad, that let's say in the States, or probably in Canada as well, or UK. I'm not sure about that, but it is required for you to go through CGFNS if you're wanting to acquire a licensure here in the United States. So I did process my CES report through CGFNS. They are basically going to evaluate your credentials, especially if you are seeking a license, or you are wanting to get your license here in the United States. I don't know how long it would take for the processing for the CES report, because it varies time to time and it depends on each individuals, but mine probably took for a year. And once my CS report was issued, CGFNS wasn't able to submit it to the Missouri. CGFNS wasn't able to send it to the Missouri State Board of Nursing because CGFNS told me that I need to take my English proficiency exam first prior for them to be able to submit it to the Missouri State Board of Nursing. Does that make sense? But anyway, I took the TOEFL and I took the TOEFL exam 3 times and I failed. And I'm gonna link it to you guys, my experience with my English proficiency exams over here. So I took TOEFL 3 times and I failed, and then I finally decided to take IELTS, and then I finally passed. So because I keep on failing, it took me for another 2 years to be able to, you know, finally go through with CGFNS. So once I passed the IELTS exam, so my CES was finally sent to the Missouri State Board of Nursing. When the BON received it, they basically send me like a checklist on what is missing on my application. So aside from that though, this was one of the questions that one of my previous subscriber asked, but I wasn't able to do a vlog from that. What are you gonna do first? Process your CGFNS or send a registration to the BON? So with this thing, if you're going to send your registration to the Missouri State Board of Nursing, it would only last them for a year. That application will only last for a year, and you don't know how long your CGFNS processing would take. So in my case, I actually tried to email the BON, and they told me that I could send my registration form, which is you're going to fill up because you are going to register with the BON for you to be able to get eligible for, you know, taking the NCLEX. So they told me that basically finish my CES report first from CGFNS, and once that was being done, basically it was being approved, or I already have the CES report, issued, then I could send them the registration application. After my CES report were issued and basically being released, and I then submitted the application or the registration for me to be able to take the NCLEX to the BON, or Missouri State Board of Nursing. Once they receive my application, they would send me an email that they have received my CES report, including with a checklist on what is missing on my application. So one of the requirements there that was missing was criminal background, which is very easy to do if you are, you know, in the United States and you have a social security number. You could apply through online. So basically, when you're trying to go or to get your criminal background checks, you're just gonna go to www.machs.mo.gov, and then you're gonna register the 4-digit registration number, which is 00011. And then you're just gonna go and fill up whatever that website, you know, whatever credentials that you need to fill out on that website, and then you're gonna pay. I think I paid like $40, I think. if you're still located in a different country. Probably you need to send an email to the Board of Nursing on the state where you're going to apply, because I don't know how that works. So after you basically, you know, finish your criminal background check, then the BON is going to send you another email with the checklist. Basically, they're already taken out that criminal background because you already have done that. And then what is missing next is, let's say, evidence of let's say your, what is that, your evidence of US citizenship or lawful presence. Basically, you're just gonna, you know, submit your green card and your passport. If your name has already been changed, let's say my passport was my maiden name and then my green card was my married name, all you gotta do is send them, you're just gonna send them a proof regarding on why is your, what do you call this, name is changed. Let's say your marriage contract or your marriage license. You're not going to send your original, okay? To be honest, what I did was basically just send everything through email. So I scanned all my, you know, green card, my driver's license, and my marriage certificate or marriage license, and then I sent it to the Board of Nursing. Once they receive it, again, they're gonna send you an email if there is missing with that documents that they needed. You're just gonna basically submit it again, and if there's nothing missing, again, they're gonna send you a checklist on what is missing. And then lastly, the TrueProfile, which is the most difficult thing, and I was really confused on how to process it. So TrueProfile again is an education, qualification, identification, professional, health license, and residency check from TrueProfile. So in this instruction, you must click this link, which is TrueProfile. It was so easy before because you just basically click the link and then you can use a voucher or a code, MSBN nurse bundle. You will click that bundle, guys. So if you don't have a TrueProfile, I believe you need to create an account. I think that's what I did. So you just put in all your credentials and then you can log in. It used to be automatically you can purchase the Missouri bundle, and this is the bundle or the nurse bundle that you are going to pick, and it would cost you $364. Anyway, once you are in the MSBN nurse bundle, you are going through these steps: identity, education, and license. So the difficult part that a lot of you guys were asking, which was also my problem before, was, you know, it was easy for you to pick that nurse bundle, which is the MSBN nurse bundle. It was so easy to pick that. However, you cannot go through when you try to do your payment. To be honest, you guys, I was desperate that time because I couldn't ask anybody. Like, I really don't know who I could ask to, but what I did was I sent an email to TrueProfile. I sent them an email and then they have this, you know, contact us. And basically, I was hoping that somebody would answer me. And their customer service were really good. So they've been sending me an email. There was this guy that was basically worked with my case. And he was very consistent in responding to my messages. I told them that I was trying to do this verification for the Missouri State Board of Nursing so that I'll be able to take the licensure exam here in the United States. And I had some issue that every time I try to do my payment, this transaction just don't go through. And he was asking me like if I had used a debit card or a credit card, and I told him I did use the credit card. However, the credit card is not going through still. So he told me to call the credit card. However, when I tried to call the customer service and credit card, it seems like they are blocking it because it's like an international purchase. And then I realized that TrueProfile that time, I think their office was in Dubai, and automatically my credit card doesn't let my payment go through. This time I was able to talk to a different customer representative, and she told me she asked me if I have a PayPal account. And then I was like, I don't really want to have PayPal account, but she told me it will go through if you're gonna put your credit card credentials in your PayPal account. So, and I did that. So I basically signed up with PayPal account just for this transaction, and then I put my credit card details, and then finally it went through. It went through, guys. So I think that's what you gotta do. You have to, you know, have a PayPal account, put your credentials there, and after the transaction is complete, you can email the TrueProfile if they have received the payment or if the transaction went through, and they send me an email that yes, it did, and they can finally start my verification process. So just have a PayPal account, put that credentials in from your credit card, and after the transaction is complete, just remove that credit card details, or you can even, you know, close your account from PayPal, just for you to be able to basically pay the TrueProfile verification, you know, application. So yeah, I did that. I have even emailed the Missouri State Board of Nursing that why am I going through another credential verification? I have already done that through CGFNS, but they told me it's part of their process to see if my, what do you call this, if my credentials were kind of true. But I was like, CGFNS already did all these things, but I couldn't do anything because it's their requirements. I was just curious why they have to do that, another verification steps, even though it was already been done through CGFNS. So I don't know what's the difference. I might need to investigate more, but if you know, guys, let me know. Once you have already clicked the nurse bundle through Missouri State Board of Nursing, you're going to pay that $364. So let's say your transaction or your payment transaction already went through with PayPal. They're going to do your identity true proof. So basically, you're just going to submit your passport. They basically sent me an email that was called data flow, and there were representatives that, you know, basically work with me too, and told me we have received your verification from TrueProfile. They have received their passport, but we need further documents to, you know, as a proof that that was me. So that's when I send my my driver's license, my, what do you call this, my green card, and my marriage license, and I told them that my passport was still my maiden name because, you know, I wasn't able to renew my passport with my married name because it's still basically not going to expire. But they said it's okay as long as I have my marriage license or my marriage certificate. And this is how it looks like on my data. So they also required me to send a selfie along with my passport. And once the identity was basically being verified, then I went to the next steps, which is the education true proof. So the only thing that I submitted to them was actually my diploma from the university. All right, guys, so now we were on the education, correct? So this lady from Data Flow Group kind of reached out to me and told me that she basically required me other further documents to be sent for them so that they could go through the verification process with TrueProfile. I was talking to a different person too regarding my identity, and then this is another person again from the same company, which is Data Flow, and want me to send to them different documents. So valid government ID, a handwritten wet sign. Basically, Data Flow Group is going to send you an authorization letter that you need to sign, scan, and resend it to them. 3 specimen signatures of the alumni. So for the 3 specimen signature, you're basically going to get a blank sheet of paper, do 3 signatures that is the same with your passport, scan it, and send it to the Data Flow representative. And other than that, a complete copy of my transcript of records and a letter of authorization specifying the date on when I signed the document. So once you have sent all those requirements, remember that authorization letter, the signature in a blank paper, your transcript of records, you're going to receive an email from TrueProfile that they have already received it from Dataflow, and then they are going to start the verification process on the educational qualification step. If you are not a registered nurse in the Philippines, and luckily in the Missouri State Board of Nursing, you can basically take the NCLEX even though you are not an RN in the Philippines. So in CGFNS, they are just going to waive that part. But in TrueProfile, they're also gonna waive that, but it's kind of like a long process. So what I did was, after I informed TrueProfile that I am not already a registered nurse in the Philippines, so for them to be able to approve that verification, I have to contact the Board of Nursing, and they have their own communication, and basically they just waive it. It's a long process, but the good thing with TrueProfile is they are so easy to email. You know, while I was doing all this processing or registration for me to get eligible to take the NCLEX, I am currently based in the US, and I couldn't call them because they're also, their office is probably in Dubai or in the UAE. So I couldn't call them internationally. So all I did was just basically send them an email, and then they're gonna get back to you. And they're pretty good in responding to you if you have any issues with your processing or your status. And same with the Missouri State Board of Nursing, they are pretty good in responding to your email. So that's what I did. It's more easier for me to get through with the MSBN, or Missouri State Board of Nursing, with my inquiries through email than calling them. I only call them if I really don't hear back from them, but most of the time when I try to communicate with TrueProfile and MSBN is I just sent them an email. But I hope I have answered your question regarding on how to go through the TrueProfile transaction. Basically, you're just gonna use PayPal. That's all you gotta do. I'm not sure also if there are any changes regarding the application or the registration for you to get eligible to take the NCLEX in Missouri, because when I went through their website, it's different. So you probably need to let me know if there are any changes so that I could help the other subscribers if they have other questions regarding the steps. Well, yeah, it was a pretty tough what do you call this, vlog. I hope I don't make anybody or everyone confused, because this is a really hard subject, because I have processed this for a long time, and for some reason, I should have documented everything. But when you are in the middle of processing stuff and it stresses you out, or if it stressed you out, you couldn't think about documenting, and I should have thought about that while I was in the middle of processing my NCLEX. But it just took me 4 years, guys. It took me 4 years because I was desperate. I keep on failing on my English proficiency exam. But yeah, and another thing, guys. So if you fail the NCLEX, let's say if you fail the NCLEX, do not procrastinate, please. Because you're gonna be like me. I did procrastinated. The first time I took the NCLEX, I procrastinated. I waited for months, and I think I rested for about 6 months or 7 months. Let's say I took the NCLEX for the first time October, and then I didn't want to take the NCLEX. You are technically able to take the NCLEX again after 45 days, but I wasn't ready. So October, November, December. December is I found out about Simplify NCLEX. And then I enrolled in December. But I didn't study. I still procrastinated. December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So, for 5 months, I took the NCLEX on June 2024. For 5 months, I was studying, but it's an on and off thing with Simplify NCLEX-RN, and I was just not ready. And I finally locked in for the next 2. My cat is playing down, so my camera is shaking. I finally locked in 2 months before June. So April and May, I locked in there. And I finally decided that I'm going to take it on June because I think there's no time for me to wait. I think also because I waited for a long time for that 5 months. Let's say after 45 days, I can basically register again. But I didn't register after 45 days. And my application from the Board of Nursing expired. Not the Board of Nursing, but my CES report expired, guys. The Board of Nursing sent me an email that I couldn't basically take the NCLEX because my CES report expired. And I didn't know that it will expire. I was not paying attention to that. So I have to reapply on re-evaluation for the CES report. And thank God my IELTS was still valid and it wasn't expired yet. Because if that IELTS expired, I'm going to take that freaking IELTS exam again, and I don't want to go through with that because English exam is very hard. So I was able to do the reevaluation for the CES report, and then again it was submitted to the State Board of Nursing, and thank God they don't need the TrueProfile again, or else I will be screwed again and pay for another 300 and something bucks. But I have to go through another criminal background check. And then after that, the BON sent me a message that I am finally, eligible to take the exam. And then I got my ATT, I can, was that authorization to test, and then I was able to schedule my exam on June. Yes, it took me a while. So do not procrastinate. If you fail the NCLEX, wait for 45 days. After you know the result, study directly. Study those 45 days, and I really think it's enough. And then take the NCLEX directly. And keep an eye on your CES report, guys, and your IELTS exam, the expiration dates. Because if that expires, it means you're gonna do it again. And you don't want that. Don't be like me, a procrastinator. But I hope this helps. It's a long video. Thank you for watching. If you have other questions, that let me know regarding the NCLEX. I'll probably gonna talk to you guys on how I study the NCLEX again, but I feel like I keep on talking about that. We'll probably need to do that on my next vlog again, but let me know on how you bounce back after you fail the NCLEX, or how to lock in for you to be able to study for the NCLEX so that you'll be able to make it. Don't lose hope. It's a long process. God is with you. Keep on praying, and you will be on the next side. Like you'll be an RN or a USRN or a nurse in Canada or an RN in Canada or UK. You will pass that NCLEX, guys. Is NCLEX required in UK? I don't even know. I think it is required in Canada though. But yeah. IELTS exam, between IELTS and TOEFL, I wouldn't advise TOEFL. It's really difficult. IELTS is difficult too, but it's way better than TOEFL. So alright guys, good luck. If you have other questions, let me know. Comment down below, and thank you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I usually share my life regarding in and out the hospital and my nursing journey, and I always want to try to go back with my journey if you have other questions regarding that period, and I'll try my best to provide a great information for you guys. Anyways, if you have already passed the NCLEX, congratulations! We are finally a nurse now. Dream come true, and thank God. And continue praying if you are going to start your orientation, and if you got your job already as a nurse, good job. Yay! Keep praying, okay? Bye guys, see you next time. Bye.